I'm always delighted to be with Saul who's been such a leader in the conservative movement and the Republican Party.
Welcome to the Saul's Newsstand News Rewind for March 3rd, 2023. A new op-ed by Saul states, Senator Rick Scott's Protect Our Seniors Act will keep politicians from stealing from Medicare. It's time for Congress to do something positive and protect Social Security and Medicare rather than gut them. It can start by looking in the mirror and putting some accountability measures on itself, stop spending like drunken sailors, and end its terrible habit of ignoring insolvency and stealing from Medicare every chance it gets. Thankfully, Senator Rick Scott of Florida just introduced a bill that will impose accountability on Congress, and we think it should pass right away. We agree with Mr. Scott that it's time for Congress to stop working for itself and start working for people they say they represent, especially older Americans who have paid into these programs their whole lives. That's why we fully endorse this new bill, the Protect Our Seniors Act. Congress needs to know that the American people, especially seniors, are watching closely and won't be fooled by budget gimmicks or accept attempts to steal from our government's most critical programs. Medicare and Social Security are a promise that Americans pay into their entire lives, and it's up to Congress to be responsible managers if we want to keep that promise alive. We urge immediate consideration of Senator Scott's Protect Our Seniors Act. These essential programs are in trouble. We must act now. We would strongly encourage you to read the full op-ed by clicking on the link in the description below. The Hill reports, Biden to trigger tax fight Senate Democrats don't want. President Biden will trigger a fight over raising taxes when he introduces his budget plan next week, something that Senate Democrats who face a tough road ahead to protect their majority aren't clamoring for, especially in West Virginia, Montana, and Arizona. Talk of repealing any of the Trump tax cuts before the 2024 election had fallen off the table, and Senate Democrats have recently steered clear of insisting that any deficit reduction plan that comes before Congress this year include big tax increases. But now, Biden is putting the topic back in the national spotlight. President Biden declared at an event in Virginia Beach on Tuesday while previewing his March 9th budget proposal that he was going to raise taxes.
But by the way, I want to make it clear, I'm going to raise some taxes.
The president will trigger a major discussion over raising taxes next week when he will submit his fiscal year 2024 budget proposal to Congress, which the president says will cut $2 trillion from the federal deficit. Senator Ben Cardin, a Democrat from Maryland, a member of the Finance Committee, said Biden's plan will include many of the same proposals he pushed in 2021 and 2022, but they have virtually no chance of passing in a divided Congress. And finally, Axios reports, GOP pits endangered Democrats against Biden. Republicans are using their new House majority to jam endangered Democrats into politically sensitive votes, including a debate over so-called woke policies that the GOP is eager to inflame. Republicans are using the Congressional Review Act and other procedural methods to force Democrats to either embrace President Biden's positions or buck their own party. That includes issues such as ESG investing, crime, COVID-19, and EPA regulations. Senate Democrats face a brutal map in 2024, with 3 senators up for re-election in states former President Trump won in 2020. Republicans and a small group of Democrats are poised to hand President Biden several other Senate defeats in the coming weeks. As an example, Senator Joe Manchin supports a resolution blocking a D.C. law that reduces some maximum penalties for violent crimes. Senator Angus King, an independent from Maine, told Axios he likely will vote for it also, and many other Democrats said they are considering doing the same. This week, we'll let Joe Biden have the last word.
if they have to pay out $159 billion lead.
And that concludes your Saul's Newsstand News Rewind for March 3rd, 2023. For more political news faster, visit saulsnews.com.